Today we'll be talking about the auxiliaries from the Gridman Collab. So there are 6 of them, and I got all of them. I spent all day getting them, and I spent like 30,000 coins getting them plus 10 because I love making YouTube videos. And I love burning all my coins for one video. So there's that. Right, so there's 6 of them. 4 of them are in the shop, and 2 of them are from the milestone rewards. So as of shop right now, there's 4 of them. I bought them all out, and there's 2 in the milestones. I believe it's the last one's like 8,000 points or something. So let's go over here, rewards, and you will see one at, where is it at? 6,000 points and 8,000 points respectively. So 8,000 points and 8,000 points from the shop gets you all 6 gears. So let's go ahead and get right into them. So the 4 in the shop or whatever, those go on Rikka. If you put them on Rikka, you get some extra benefits like barrages and whatchamacallit on them. It's pretty neat. As of right now, she's the only ship in the game with 5 auxiliary slots. Kind of crazy, but she does have 5 auxiliary slots. Kind of wild, I know, but she does. Right, so the first auxiliary I want to talk about is going to be the Battle Tractor Max. So at plus 10, it gives 25 firepower and 15 evasion. And also for all these auxiliaries except the large cruiser and heavy cruiser one, it can be slotted onto every single type of ship in the game. So that's pretty neat. So firepower, evasion, as a standalone, firepower and evasion for any type of ship is pretty solid. It is pretty solid. Obviously, Rikka gets more benefits from it, but you would slot these on the ships that are already surviving that wants to do more damage. Just a little bit extra stuff. So one of the builds I like to do is for Rune Moose, if I can find her, I put these shoes on, and what these shoes do, it gives 28 evasion and gives 5 speed. So I use these on Rune Moose. You know, if I really want to, I could replace these shoes and put in the Battle Tracto right here. And that would be a pretty good, nice upgrade. I get 25 firepower, less evasion, but less speed. That's something I could do. So this is a pretty good, solid fit for basically anyone that wants like a little bit of survivability and just a little bit of damage. It's a good mix-up. I would prefer this on like heavy cruisers and large cruisers because a lot of them already have high health. So you don't really need that health. But you get a little bit more damage and get some evasion, which is always nice to have. So if you want to slot that Battle Tracto into like a heavy cruiser or a large cruiser, if you don't want to slot it onto Rikka, then that is a-okay. Next, I need to find a better way to sort these ships. I think I'm going to do other. Next, we have the Gridman Calibur. So this right here is just a raw 28 evasion. And obviously, it gives Rikka little barrages as well with torpedoes and whatnot. Slashes, is that? Yeah, slash and circus skill. It's one of her skills. If you slot all these on, she gets like a lot of fun toys to work with, so there's that. But as a raw 28 evasion standalone auxiliary, this is not that crazy. It is not that crazy at all. There is that benefit of having it be a universal thing, but honestly, if you're gonna use it as like a standalone, you're better off using a washing machine because the washing machine can also be used on multiple ships and gives 40 evasion and 60 health. So as a standalone, the Gridman Calibur is not that cool, but you'll probably want to slot this on a Rikka anyways to get the most benefits out of it. So it belongs to Rikka, and as a standalone, it's not that great. It is not. Next, we have the Buster Borr. So the Buster Borr is a raw 48 torpedo. 48. I can't talk right now. Sorry. 45 torpedo stat. And it gives Rikka some improved attack patterns with the lasers and whatnot, and more torpedoes, obviously. So again, it's a Rikka auxiliary, but as a standalone, it's not that great. It's not that great. If you want the torpedo stats, you're gonna use them on vanguards, right? So if you're gonna use it for vanguards, you're better off using like a rainbow dildo, the black dildo, wherever it is, somewhere right here, these things. You're better off with these because it's a lot more beneficial to have as a standalone for these because you get more stats and much more useful like skills compared to this right here, which is 45 torpedo, and this doesn't benefit anyone except Rikka. So the standalone, not that great, but obviously if If it isn't good on any other ships, you probably want to slide on Rikka to begin with. Next, we have the, if I can find my Rikka, is the anti-air. So 55 anti-air. Again, it gives Rikka more barrages and improvements to her attack pattern with anti-air and whatnot. Anti-air guns. So obviously you want to use it as for Rikka. But as a standalone, again, it's not that great because it is just a half version of the high performance air radar. This gives 100. This gives 55. This is basically useless now if you don't if you have enough air superiority and crap. So not that great as a standalone, but you want to use it as a Rikka auxiliary to begin with. So there's that. So in terms of all of Rikka's auxiliaries that she uses personally, the most universal one that you want to use is going to be the Battle Tracto because it gives firepower and gives evasion. It's a pretty good hybrid auxiliary. If you were to compare this to like say a Fumo 25, it gives 1 less firepower, but it also gives the Fumo gives 29 hit, so that's also nice as well too. But it gives 15 evasion, and honestly, when it comes to like a Vanguard tank setup or whatever, I would rather have the evasion over the hit. So it is not a bad trade-off for just 1 less firepower. So whoever you want to use Fumo 25 on, if you want a little bit of a mix, the Battle Tracto will probably be your next best fit if you don't want to use the Fumo 25. They're about identical. The only trade-off is 1 firepower difference and 29 hit compared to 15 evasion. So whichever you want to prefer, use that. But I would recommend using the Battle Tracto because 15 evasion is pretty good. The hit is nice, but for survivability, evasion is going to be a lot better. And for the other ones, they're not that great for standalones, but again, if they're not good for standalones, just slot them onto Rikka. She gets the most benefits out of them because of those unique skills that comes along with it. Right, so let's talk about the 2 milestone rewards. So the first one we have is going to be the Dynamic Cannon. So I got to go all the way back here. Give me a sec. I got to go to my Vanguards, Iron Blood. So the Dynamic Cannon is an accessory that you put on large cruisers, monitors, and heavy cruisers and whatnot. So those are like the 3 biggest ones. There's probably more, but just those in particular. The Dynamic Cannon. So this right here, it gives 30 firepower and it launches a beam every 12 seconds, or the first 12 seconds. I don't think it fires it after that. I'm pretty sure it's only for the first 12 seconds, but if it does, yeah, so the first 12 seconds is when it fires off. It's not that great. I went ahead and tested the beam. The width is pretty awful, if I'm being honest. Unless there's like a wide enemy like right in front of me, the beam is not that great. It is not that particularly interesting at all. So this for 35 firepower. If you're going to use the Dynamic Cannon or whatever, there's just better options. Again, you can use the Fumo. It gives 4 less firepower, but it gives 29 hit. Depending on what you want more, it could be okay trade-off. 30 firepower compared to this is not that bad. But again, if you're going to consider using that, I say the Battle Tracto is just way better. If you're going to do that, Battle Tracto right here, 5 less firepower, but get 15 more evasion. This is just way better. I would rather slot this in compared to Dynamic Cannon. But again, you don't have to use it. It's just nice to have around. 30 firepower, especially when you're a new player, is pretty solid. So a lot of these accessories right here, if you don't have the better ladder version of it, like washing machines, anti-air radar, whatever, you can use these as a substitute, and those work perfectly fine. But again, at the end of the day, when you get to like the later stage of the game, like the high performance air radar and the washing machines are going to be superior to the alternative versions. So keep that in mind. So Dynamic Cannon, 30 firepower is pretty good, especially for a Vanguard, for heavy cruiser and large cruisers and whatnot. But that's pretty much it. And the laser beam is kind of whatever. I don't like it that much. But it is pretty solid fit. If you use someone that's using Fumo 25 already, you can definitely consider using that Dynamic Cannon instead of using the Fumo 25 for that particular ship or whatever. Now, the last accessory we're going to talk about is going to be the Goldburn. Now, the Goldburn is going to be one of the 2 accessories I like the most from this batch, the other being the Battle Tracto that I was talking earlier. So let's go over here and look at the the Goldburn. The Goldburn is 550 health for any ship in the game. So it works similar to the core data item right here. I believe it's called like Seal of the Four Gods or something. Yeah, Seal of the Four Gods. It gives 550 health. The highest accessories in the game as of right now that isn't restricted to a specific ship. And when I'm talking about that, I meant the gold plating or whatever, VH plating, armor plating, this thing right here. This has the highest health, but it's restricted to heavy backliners and large cruisers. So this right here is 550 health. It is really good for just raw health stats. And if you're using it on a Vanguard, you get 38 more reload. That is really, really good. Also, if you equipped it onto a flagship CV or CL, it fires a support barrage 25 seconds after the battle starts. So the barrage is kind of whatever. I'm not a big fan of it, but if for some reason you want the extra damage, go ahead and do it. Just remember that if you're using this auxiliary, you have all health and there's no damage, there's no aviation, no kind of buffs or whatever, reload or whatever. You get none of that. So I say if you're leveling up a carrier of some sort and you want that support barrage, you go ahead and use this, but I'm not a big fan of it. The best ships to use for this particular accessories are going to be those Vanguard tanks. Now, I say this, but if I were to talk about like say a large cruiser or like Rune Moose or something, I in particular wouldn't give these ships the Goldburn. The reason why is because if you look at like large cruisers, like my Eagle right here has 8,500 health, that's already a lot. So you don't need that much health anymore. When you're at 8,500, you rarely sink, ever. You don't need more health than what you already have. What you want more is more evasion, or if you're already good on evasion, you want damage. So I'm not a big fan of using the Goldburn here, but if you really want to, it's not a bad choice. If I recall correctly, E-Girl here has a skill that if she fires her gun every 4 times or whatever with large cruiser gun, she gets a Jotun's, I don't know how to pronounce that, Jotun's Jaw barrage or whatever. It helps out for damage output, right? So you can definitely consider using this auxiliary for her, because 38 reload is a lot. But me in particular though, if I were to use it on someone, I probably wouldn't use it on her. But it is a good choice if you want to use it because it does help proc the barrage. I would use this, however, on other ships that are tanky but aren't super tanky. So some good options are like basically any heavy cruiser that let me sort heavy cruiser. So basically any heavy cruiser that isn't like already naturally tanky. So if you're kicking out all the large cruisers out of the way, Rune Moo's already pretty tanky, so I wouldn't slot it onto her. Drake is okay tanking this, honestly. If I were to do this would probably be a good fit on Drake because Drake already does immense amount of damage. However, she's not that tanky. So she's not that tanky, but she would benefit a lot from this unique skill, whatever, 38 reload. So that is pretty solid. 38 reload on top of what she already has, 148. She's gonna fire like a machine gun. So I'm probably gonna use it on Drake. It's a really good fit on her. The reload is going to help out a lot. It's going to be really good. Basically any other heavy cruiser that requires reload and wants health is a really good fit. If you want a pure tank though, I would definitely just say use a repair toolkit because even though repair toolkit has 50 less health, it has a unique skill where it regenerates 1% health every 15 seconds. So let's say using a heavy cruiser, and that heavy cruiser has like 5,000 health or whatever. When you heal 1% of that, that's like what, 50 or something minimum. So if it ticks 1 time, that means you get 550 health from just that one fight. So at that point, it's already on par with the Goldburn. And if it goes into another fight or it ticks off again, you regen another 50 health. It just gets more value each and every time. So repair toolkit is obviously better for just raw tankage, but if let's say you don't need the health regen or whatever, you're good on the health already, but you do need that boost of health and you want the reload, then you would want to use ships that work well without the HP regen and really good on the reload. So my take right here, I think the best ship that are going to use the Goldburn is going to be Drake. E-Girl is also another good choice. I think Anchorage is also a good choice. Basically, the PR ships are good choices here. And anyone that requires, like, I need fire guns off, like, X amount of times to get this to proc or whatever, right? So I think some Vanguards are also really good with that as well, too. I think, like, Udachi or something. Kazaguma. Oh, not Kazaguma. I would probably slot in health for her. Not health, the torpedoes for her. But basically, anyone that requires, like, I need fire off X amount of times to do barrage or whatever. All out assault ships. It's really good there. That wants to utilize damage and wants some health out as well. So Goldburn is a really good accessory. Probably my favorite one from this batch. So it is a very, very good accessory. So don't miss out on it. So if you guys really want to know the big takeaways from this batch of gear or whatever, it is definitely going to be the Battle Tracto, which you can buy for 2,000 points in the shop. Where is it at? Right there. Or not right there. And the 8,000 point Goldburn from the Milestone Wars. Don't forget to pick that up. It is going to be really, really big. So those are my favorite accessories from this batch. Hopefully that answers some questions for you guys about the accessories or whatever. It is it is unique to see that a ship can hold 5 auxiliaries like Rikka can, and most accessories do benefit her. But as standalones, 2 of them are very good. The other 5 are just, or the other 4 are whatever. But if you're a new player, they're all going to be good regardless. So grab them. Don't forget them. They're limited time. They're collab. So grab them.